Let's talk to Jinny Yan, who's the Chief China Economist at ICBC Standard Bank. Great to have you with us today, Jinny. So, were these numbers expected?
Was certainly expected, particularly in China, by the markets, but it may still be a surprise to some, just getting to the grips that China, as the second largest economy in the world, is starting to really show signs that particularly consumption has been relatively weak. But certainly seeing some of these regionalized, localized outbreaks of COVID cases, it shouldn't be a surprise to many in China, feeling that, for example, the hospitality and catering industry are really seeing the brunt of the impact. But as you said, it's a mixed bag, as we are still seeing temporary effect of earlier Christmas orders in the export markets.
Well, you mentioned Christmas orders. As we get closer to the end of this year, when should we expect the retail data to pick up again?
Well, it all depends on whether we are going to see even more further pockets of outbreaks. And I think particularly in the run-up to Mid-Autumn Festival, for example, National Day celebrations, and of course the upcoming festivities at the end of the year and beginning of next year, probably there will still be very stringent travel restrictions. So I would expect that continued uncertainty over domestic retail sales in particular. But as cases such as, so for example, the new Universal Studios in Beijing shows us actually there is still plenty of confidence in consumer confidence. But obviously, a lot of restrictions means that particularly travel, hospitality, catering industries will continue to suffer.
So you mentioned a few particular sectors there, but which ones are performing most robustly amongst what is otherwise fairly weak data?
For sure, I would say that the e-commerce sales continue to be very buoyant, and also, of course, the renewable sectors. But even with the regulatory curb on many of the sectors, particularly property sector, technology giants, etc., they're still seeing some resilience in, for example, manufacturing investments. So really the upgrading of manufacturing capacity across China and in regional pockets. So some of these revitalization programs in the central and western, and also some of the underdeveloped regions will continue to outshine in the coming months.
So obviously continued disruption due to COVID-19. How much does the uncertainty around that erode confidence and activity?
Well, certainly the PMI data has already showed us that it's still already started to impact, particularly on producers. But increased uncertainty not only within China, but across the globe, because of course, as we know, other countries are also getting to grips with COVID and other uncertainties. So I would say that even trade will still see pockets of uncertainty, supply chain shocks as well. So I think for China in particular, as the second largest economy, I would say that definitely uncertainty prevail. One of the key challenges ahead is that, as we've seen, the deleveraging campaign is still very much alive. So the rationale behind really this kind of equality and also common prosperity will continue to be priority for authorities.
Jinny Yan from ICBC Standard Bank, thank you very much indeed for joining us today.